Would you Adam and Eve it? A story about Mykhailo Mudryk.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
The forgotten man being brought back into the media in front of all our eyes. An exclusive on Give Me Sport by Ben Jacobs. Mudryk's passed a lie detector test. Not sure they get held up in court, but apparently it will be a contributing factor. Of course, the young Ukrainian... Well, is he that young anymore? Yeah, he's young. I'm 36. He's young. The young Ukrainian winger, of course, provisionally banned from football and waiting for a B sample. A B sample that I've previously and personally speculated that has returned, but perhaps there's no hearing yet and they're waiting for a hearing. We're going to get into all of it today. Actually, this is the second video I've uploaded today. I reacted to an Athletic article looking at the finances of Chelsea, how much money they've put in, why they can keep putting money in. We speak a little bit about that. Of course, it's quite unsavoury speaking about Chelsea and money at the moment because, let's be honest, we want goals, we want wins, we want an emotional connection to our team. So, but if you're interested in that kind of thing, a lot of people seem to like the video, so you might like it too. Seek it out. It's my previous upload, but we are going to get into this article from Ben Jacobs regarding Mykhailo Mudryk. A little bit of like housework and reminding ourselves he was kind of finding form again, Mudryk. Of course, he was in the sort of B team under Enzo Maresca, playing in the midweek games in the Conference League, scoring goals. And he's been here a while now, Mudryk. He has. He was like one of the sort of, in my view, in my personal guess and theory, I think he was a bit of a sort of PR win with the new owners, yeah. Because of course they love getting one over Arsenal, beating them to the signing or whatever. But with all the geopolitical stuff that went on with Roman Abramovich when he was sanctioned, buying the next Ukrainian star, presenting him at Stamford Bridge with a Ukrainian flag, quite literally, why did not focus, around his shoulders, was a bit of an easy win for them in terms of like, oh look, it's not the previous owners of this political stuff, we're like pro-Ukraine, etc. That's a little bit of speculation from me there. I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't, football's quite a cynical thing lately, and I would not be surprised if that was the case. But he was finding form again. He was finding form. Of course, Pochettino's remit with Mudryk was to like make him work. This guy cost us 62 million quid as a base fee, could raise to 88 million. The people at Shakhtar saying he's only Mbappe and Vinicius are better than him on the left, and he's a future Ballon d'Or winner in Mudryk. A lot of people will laugh at that, but that's the truth. Although we have seen flashes of brilliance, like insane brilliance. I referenced the goal when he takes the ball off Gallagher, dribbles for loads of people and lashes it in. He scored a couple of like wonder goals for Chelsea, and he was slowly finding momentum again. Of course, Pochettino, last season, he was tasked with putting an arm around him. He was playing like the crossbar challenge with him, and it didn't really work. But we were all sort of thinking this season, ooh, something's happening with Mudryk. Maybe he can be the guy here. And of course, he tested positive for a banned substance, provisionally banned by the FA and governing bodies, awaiting a B sample. But I've already reacted here on a different video. We looked at, apparently once you've requested a B sample, the average wait is 10 days. And that was freaking months ago. So that's a little update. We're going to get into this article in just a second. I'm just going to pause the recording and see if my camera is properly in focus. Yeah, I think I fixed it. There we go. Cool. So we're going to jump in. So we all caught up with Mudryk, who he was, while we got on. We cost a lot of money, maybe finding a bit of form again, and then this happens. And of course, Chelsea have been looking at right-footed, left-sided wingers, like as a starter. Jadon Sancho might stay, he might go. He might stay as like a rotational £25 million backup option that can do bits. But Chelsea are looking at this role here. So we're going to read this article. from Ben Jacobs. It is an exclusive. I won't necessarily keep it up on the screen. I'm just showing you for reference so you could seek it out yourself if you want. But it goes a little something like this. Shakhtar Donetsk chief executive Sergei Palkin, or Sergei, says Chelsea star Mykhailo Mudryk has passed a polygraph as he bids to clear his name from a doping ban sustained on international duty for Ukraine last November, bro. Oh, wow. Time flies, doesn't it? The Shakhtar chief has been understandably championing his guy. Also, if Mudryk makes it at Chelsea, he makes an extra £26 million. Yeah, 20, so he wants, it's in their interest, you know what I mean? And also, maybe, dare I speculate here, that if he is banned, I wonder if there'll be lawsuits against Shakhtar. Maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing, I'm very much guessing here, I'm not suggesting, I'm guessing, because of course there'll be payments. I doubt Chelsea paid, they paid 30 odd million up front for Fernandes. I doubt they paid the full 62 up front for Mudryk. So maybe they're like, hold on, we're going to hold payments here, Shakhtar, because this geezer can't even play football. He's banned. Guessing, speculating, theorizing, very important, yeah? Very important that you hear that. So maybe this is why the Chiefs like, we got to make this work. Quick, get a lie detector test. What can we do to make this work? Yeah, so that's possibly the situation. The winger is currently provisionally suspended by the Football Association after the A sample returned positive for meldonium. Sounds like something from the Avengers, like a very dense metal. He denies knowingly taking a banned substance, but athletes are strictly liable for anything ingested. Yeah, they have like a whole team of people to make sure they don't put anything, bad in. Unless they can prove sabotage or a flaw in testing protocol. Jesus. Dramatic sabotage. Mudryk faces a ban of up to 4 years if found guilty, which I must say will be a travesty for the young man. Mudryk made 44 appearances for Shakhtar between 2018 and 2023, scoring 12 goals. How did we pay so much for this geezer? 12 goals in 5 years. What? Before joining Chelsea in January of 2023 for 70 million up front and a further 30 million in add-ons. This is euros, of course. That's why it's a slightly different figure to what I've just stated in pounds. Shakhtar could lose those bonuses if Mudryk doesn't play for Chelsea again. There you go. My speculation is already being met about why this geezer wants to help. So the Palkin said this. I've spoken to Mudryk many times since the doping issue arose. He doesn't understand how it could have happened. He has no clue. No idea at all. So, his lawyers organised for him to take a lie detector test, which he passed. It will form part of the evidence showing he didn't intentionally do anything wrong. But that's by the by, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter if you intentionally or unintentionally did it. It's if you've been sabotaged or your test is broken. Mudryk has been clear. It's not his fault that he tested positive. We now need to find out how this happened and who did this. And who did this? Oh, his lawyers are trying to find out. So there it is. Sabotage, as the Beastie Boys would shout. Who did this? Who did this? He's suggesting some serious dramatic sugar going on here. Wow. There are still no results from the B sample. And that remains open. So this, again, we're taking his word for this. But the previous video that I spoke about when I did some independent research with the 10 days, upon requested, the average time is 10 days. Well, I suppose the average time could be 10 days because maybe it comes back the next day, or maybe it comes back in months, like in this situation, which might actually average to 10 days. Who knows? So maybe that remains true. Nobody knows what's happened. I wish Mudryk all the best. He's a top professional and a very good person. He should be protected. I think he should be protected because he's a vulnerable young man. Shakhtar has also vested interest. There are bonuses. Well, he's been straight here, isn't he? From his move to Chelsea, linked to his performances. If he's not playing, it causes problems for us. Oh, because we could potentially lose the 30 million. All right, so you still get your 70 million euros, G. And also, I mean, fair play for being honest, because he could be like, he's a Ukrainian superstar. We feel like we've got a duty of care to him. We want to protect him. We want to make sure he's okay and he's not been wrongly framed for doping here. He's straight up been like, well, we're going to lose 30 million euros if this geezer doesn't play. That's why we're getting involved. I mean, brutal honesty there. I suppose he's probably thinking, well, you're all thinking it, so I might as well say it. We don't want to lose 30 million quid. Or euros, should I say. That's a lot of money for Shakhtar. Pretty funny how he's just been straight shooting. So Shakhtar, Chelsea and Mudryk were all in one boat. We all support Mudryk and hope he is allowed to play football soon. Wow. That's pretty wild the way he's just been like, he's a good lad, he's a professional, he's a really sweet boy. We don't want to lose 30 million. Not bad. Mudryk from funds from Mudryk deal donated during war. This is going back here talking about how back in January when Chelsea bought him, Mudryk was paraded around Stamford Bridge, of course, wearing the Ukrainian flag, like I said, with Palkin and Shakhtar sporting director Dario Sunya are both present in West London. It was a symbolic unveiling. There you go, a high-profile signing for all of Ukraine to celebrate. So this is what I mean. Like, everyone is backing this kid from a war-torn nation. Lots of money was donated to Ukraine, and it was a feel-good moment transfer. In isolation initially. Like I said, football is not all warm fuzzies. In fact, it can be very, very cynical, and that's why I sort of speculate that the new owners have gone like, right, well, Abramovich is in the naughty books here in the public eye. How do we get an easy, quick win? Oh, we buy the next Ukrainian superstar, parade him around Stamford Bridge with a Ukrainian flag around his shoulders. It's obviously nothing to do with Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans, not saying that Chelsea fans don't have any sympathy towards a horrible invasion, but Chelsea fans didn't invade Ukraine as Russian representatives. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like it's all just PR stuff, isn't it? Right. So what do we think about this? Well, it was until my understanding early doors that polygraphs, lie detector tests can't be used in a court of law. Has that changed? Am I pulling that out of my behind? Because I thought that was always the case. I thought people could always use it. Because you see in TV shows, don't you? Like lawyers making people take polygraphs. But it's almost like it's not to be used as a piece of evidence in the courtroom. It's for them to just, if they're really saying they're not guilty, they're like, all right, we'll do it. They do it. And then if it says they're guilty, they might change the story maybe. I don't know. Whatever. The truth is, it's very, very... It's a big story, man, Mudryk. Because if he just suddenly appeared to be available again, would we use him? It's very interesting because in terms of, he was doing well in the Conference League, but the Conference League, with the amount of quality Chelsea have in terms of comparison to the quality of the league, the Conference League itself, just good players will win. When you talk about Maresca's style of football, he wants very 1v1 wingers. Now, Mudryk can dribble, but Mudryk's best work as a senior footballer has been transitional. It's been high octane, running into space and just ripping apart defences from that. But, Chelsea are trying to play with the ball, passing it around up the pitch, so there's no space for Mudryk to run. It's a touch of the Timo Werners. It's a touch of the Christian Pulisic. I don't want to necessarily box him in as a Timo Werner. I actually think he has got an incredible capacity to be a really good attacker. Like we said, that goal, when he instinctively takes off Gallagher's foot, dribbles around loads of people and finishes beautifully. That's not a Timo Werner. So, I don't want to denigrate him at all. Very interesting to see what happens. Hugely delicate situation. Maybe stuff's finally happening in the background. That's why these stories are coming out. Who knows? But it's incredibly interesting. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section of this video. Thank you, as always, for supporting the content, for liking the video, and of course, you're all welcome to subscribe should you choose to do so. Hit the bell notifications icon so you get notified when I upload. All right, and also daily videos on the second channel, Football Yannick, but that's me talking about non-Chelsea stuff. But if you'd be interested in my commentary on that, you're welcome to go check that out. All right, mate. Take care of yourselves. Peace.